So, what to do now? Think about this reality distortion field. I've produced a number of these fridge magnets. It will be first come, first serve. Not now, at the end. I've given it to the staff outside, and they're under strict authorization not to give these out until people leave. So don't leave now, because we've got Paul coming up to do his keynote. And this fridge magnet just says, become the super tester of tomorrow and break the reality distortion field of testing today. And there's a superhero on it. Now, if you don't like it, you can actually prise it open and put a picture of your family in if you want. So, but I'm going to tell you one story just to finish in 2 minutes. Because you're going to go away from this conference. There's loads of things that have been pounding in your heads about what to change, what you want to do. I've told you about 50% dedicated to it and do this and that. And there's loads of ideas. And you have to choose what is best for you. You have to choose your battles when it comes to going back to your office. You can't win every battle. And you have to take little steps. Now, how many of you are parents? Parents? Okay, majority of the audience. I never give advice to parents. I think parents need to learn the hard way sometimes, but there is one piece of advice somebody gave me. And they said, Lloyd, you need to choose your battles with your kids. You can't win every battle. So my daughter came home when she was 13, Hannah her name, and she said, Dad, I want my ears pierced. I said, no. Absolutely not. But Dad, everyone's getting their ears pierced. No, you're 13 years old. But Dad, no. We had this argument. She started crying. My wife came in. What's happened here then? Dad won't let me get my ears pierced. My wife looked at me and said, what's the problem? Ears pierced. If it hurts, then it soon heals up, you know, and if she doesn't like them, she can take them out. Just chill. That was her words to me. Just chill. She can have her ears pierced. So we're like, don't listen to me. So my daughter at 13 years old went out and got her ears pierced. She was 14. She came home. My wife was out again. Dad, I want my belly button pierced. Now, guys, remember a year ago, ears pierced, no. From your wife. So, belly button pierced, same. So I said to my daughter, yeah, absolutely. My wife came home. My daughter was, yeah. My wife said, what's up? Dad's let me get my belly button pierced. My wife, what have you done that for? You know, belly button, and I can't win. At 15, she came home. Dad, I want a tattoo. Absolutely no. And in the UK, you can't get a tattoo without your parents' permission until you're 18. She complained and we said no. My wife backed me up, said no, you're too young. On her 18th birthday, she went out. She took her birth certificate. She went to her tattoo parlor and she came home and said, Dad, my daughter's 30 years old now. I said to her, do you like your tattoo? She said no. Take me a lot to say I told you so, but she's learnt a lesson. Okay, how do you measure and report test progress without test cases? Okay, do something different. You see, test cases are fine if we know what a test case is, but why don't we report on test charters? I do that. I've run 6 test charters today, and this is what I've found. Why don't we report on coverage? You know, we've done 50% of the pairwise coverage. And I think what we need to do is we've got into a rut because everyone expects us to report on test cases, but nobody actually knows what a test case is. Not even ISTQB, which has lots of definitions, they can't actually agree as to what a test case is. And so because of that, there is so much confusion in the industry. If your organization knows what a test case is, and the test case is quality test cases, then absolutely report on them. But why don't you report on test ideas or test conditions that are very high level? So that's a suggestion for you. Okay, what about production issues that can also be interrupted, the QA test running 50%? Yeah, I'm not saying by any means that if you've got a major disaster out in production, you say, nope, I'm doing my exploratory testing and Lloyd has said I'm not to be interrupted. Obviously, if you've got serious Sev1 issues that have come through to production, then you need to actually drop everything and help that out, and hopefully you can get back on track. So definitely, I'm not saying don't look at production issues, because they're the ones your customer. But I will say this, if there are production issues, why don't you do a live feedback loop? Why don't you say, okay, customers have hit this problem, why didn't we pick that up? What do we need to do different in order to safeguard our customers the next time round? Another one, okay, some testers at our company in integration testing think it doesn't need to know how to write code or read it at least. What is your opinion? So some testers in our organization in integration testing thinks he doesn't need to know how to write code. Well, I don't think testers need to know how to write code. I think testers need to know how to test and need to know how to be curious, need to know those questions. Now, obviously, I'm an ex-developer. I know how to write code, and I've come from that background. But I had people in my team that hadn't touched a piece of code. They were fantastic testers. And I don't think we need to write code. I think it can help in as much as we understand how code is written and we can test from a technical perspective, but I don't think it's needed. But I think if that person's got an attitude, that is something else to deal with. You know, and I don't think it's necessary to say every tester doesn't have to write code. I think knowing about it can really help us explore testing and be better testers, you know, ultimately. And how do you get all the info in one page test plan? It'll say we're going to test, but the additional information like test environments. Let me say about things like test environments and things like resources. Let me tell you, your business doesn't care about your test environments. They don't. Your project managers don't care about your test environments. Your project managers care about the schedule. Your business care about risks and about how you're going to deliver. So we need to understand who is the test plan going to? What is the purpose of a test plan? And I think, you know, having environments, that could be put into a higher level document like a test strategy, and we refer to it and don't clutter up our test plan. I think we've got to come down to a sensible, manageable test plan that people are going to read. Now, Lisa Crispin in the Agile community has actually put together a one-page Agile test plan, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think we need to go in that route and have bullet points and maybe mention a test environment. But let's face it, only us in testing is probably worried about the test environment, and maybe the people that are actually using it or those that are supporting it need to know as well. So hopefully that's helpful. Thank you for those questions, by the way.